Hey, good morning. This is Jason Morris with Facebook group Real Estate Agents That Really Work. This morning I had several things I wanted to kind of talk about that I feel like are just things I'm seeing. A lot of these Facebook lives are just kind of my observation stuff I'm seeing in the real estate industry. I'm just coming on here to answer questions that you guys have, problems that you have, and problems you might be having in the real estate business, and just kind of tell you like just some of the observations I'm seeing over and over again. And I mean, some of them you might agree with, some of them you don't, might not. It's okay with me every way, either way. But one of the big things that I'm seeing with agents, I believe I have this belief that we should be taking every chance that we get. If we get a chance to do something, if we get a chance to list a property, if we get a chance to do whatever it is, that we should go do it. If we talk to a for sale owner on the phone, even though like, hey, we don't like the neighborhood that they're in, maybe they're 15 minutes further than where we want to go. I believe that we should be taking that chance. We should be saying, hey, you know what? Hey, it's a little bit further than where I want to go, but I think that we should. I think that's what we should be doing. And I see a lot of agents that one of the things they actually do is they're out there working every day. They're making calls and stuff, or really they're not making calls. And this is one of the things that really I think is crazy. I see agents, they subscribe to a service like Redx or like ZBuyer or whatever it is, and they say that, for example, they're calling for sale by owners. And I seen this agent yesterday, and they were going down through the for sale by owner list, and what they were doing was they were scrubbing it for the do not call numbers. And I'm going, man, these are people that are actually advertising their property for sale, and they're scrubbing it for do not call numbers. I mean, guys, I believe those for sale by owners, I believe every one of those that we get is an opportunity. I believe every one of those is just a gift that we have. And I think that we have to go after it. We have to go after it. We have to go after it. We have to go and try to take advantage of that opportunity. Because if we don't, somebody else in our marketplace is. And I see that all the time, and I see agents too, and they don't want to learn multiple skills. They don't want to learn. They're doing kind of okay with for sale by owners, but they don't really want to learn how to go get expireds, or they don't really want to learn how to, do anything else. I believe that I think it's kind of interesting how many agents that I see like on a daily basis and message me through Facebook and stuff like that, and they're just not going out there and taking the chances they're getting. Like I seen one agent yesterday. They messaged me, and I don't want to call out anybody's name or anything, and they've been in the business like 2.5 years. They haven't sold their first property yet. 2.5 years, you hadn't sold your first property yet. And I said, man, what's going on? What's wrong? What do you think the problem is? Hey, Jessica. And and they told me that they said, well, I'm calling people. I said, well, how many are you calling? And they said, I called about 400. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh man, they called 400, yesterday. And they were talking about they called 400 like over 2.5 years. And here's the thing, like, I mean, that sucks. I mean, there's agents out there that called 400 yesterday, And what's kind of interesting is I see agents too, and they don't want to pick up the phone and call, and they don't want to take that opportunity. They don't want to take that chance calling that for sale by owner. They want to text them, and they want to text something that's kind of like, oh, you have a lovely home. I think you have a lovely home. I'd love to help you sell it. And the thing about that is, I mean, when you send something like that, I mean, if you got that text, hey, if you got that text, hey Trenton, you have a lovely home. I'd love to help you sell it. What would be your response to it? It'd probably be like, hey, fuck off, like, oh man, another like super fake real estate agent. They haven't even seen my home and they're telling me how lovely it is. And I told the agent, I said, man, you got to pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone, because the number one response, he's like, oh man, well, nobody wants to work with a real estate agent. No shit. Nobody wants to work with a real estate agent. We charge a lot of money, right? And the way we can charge that amount of money and the way we can replicate it over and over again is building our skill set. Like getting better on the phone, getting better at setting appointments, getting better during the appointment, getting better, at the whole thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree. Phone call is always better than a text. I believe phone call, like in the hierarchy of calls and follow-ups and stuff like that, I believe a phone call is number one, a text is number two, and an email is number three. And the only reason you should be texting somebody on the initial contact is if you've tried and you just can't get them on the phone, right? You've called them 2 or 3 times, 4 times, you can't get them on the phone. So what you end up doing is you send them a text. And now here's the thing that a lot of agents don't get. You're not going to list that property through a text. You're just not going to do it. But what you can do through a text is you can set up an appointment, or you can find out when they're available later, right? And I believe that's what you have to do. And the email is like, even after that, maybe you call, like say with ZBuyer, I say, oh, call, text, email. I'm not saying pick one of the three. I'm saying, hey, call. If you don't get them on the call, then you send them a text, and the text should be like really simple. It should be, hey, I saw you wanted to sell your house I saw your house for sale at 123 Main Street. What's a good time to call, right? And yeah, Jessica, that's what I don't understand either. This guy's been in the business 2 years in the business, and they think texting is okay. And I agree, after you establish a relationship, like, hey, I got a seller that's under contract this morning. The agent is, we're waiting on the lender. My seller texted me this morning. I text the buyer's agent, said, hey man, do you have any update? Did you get any update yesterday afternoon? Whatever it is. And I feel like texting in that situation, we've got an established relationship. I feel like texting is fine. However, a lot of these agents are texting the first contact. They're not even picking up the phone. Hey, Tatiana. They're not even picking up the phone, trying to get people, trying to get an actual conversation. And it's about getting out of your comfort zone. And I believe that the amounts of money that we want to make, none of us should have little goals. I mean, we should all be playing big. If your goal is like $30,000 a year, gross commissions, then to be honest with you, you could probably go work at McDonald's and have a lot less headaches and a lot less bullshit going on during your day. You know what I mean? The worst case is you leave cheese off the cheeseburger. So there's just a lot of easier things to do if you're okay making $20,000 or $30,000 a year. I think that we should all be playing big. We should all have a big goal. I think we should all have a goal that's I think we should have a goal of 6 figures. If you're full time, I think your goal should be 6 figures or more. And I think that we have to do that, because if we don't, then if we are aiming too low, if you're going to miss your goal, you're just going to miss it. But if your goal is 100 and you only make 80, that's still not bad for most markets. But if your goal is 50 and you make 30, that kind of sucks. And I think that a lot of agents, the reason why they're struggling is that they're not taking the chances they're getting. They're having for sale owners pop up in their area, and they're not calling them because they're going, oh, it's a little bit further out of my way. Or my favorite one is, oh, I don't list anything under 200, and this is only like 150. And I'm going like, you got to be kidding me, right? You know, I've had agents to tell me like, oh, I don't prospect anything under 500,000, and you look it up online, and the average price for their market is 250,000. And you just, I believe you have to take every chance that you get. You know, and I think that a lot of agents, man, they're at zero. They're stuck at zero. They're not really going to get away from zero, and they want to be picky with where they're working at, what they're working on. And it's like, dude, you got zero today, man. I mean, if you get a lot listing for 10 grand, that's more than what you got today. And they're just not taking the chances they're being given. And like I was talking to this one agent, and he told me, he said, oh, in my market, there's only three houses. I'm in a really tough market. There's only three houses on the market. And I'm going like, damn, he's close to LA. And if he hears this, good, he should hear this. This is something he needs to hear. He's close to LA, and told me, he said there's only three houses on the market. And I'm going like, holy shit, like three in like the whole damn place. You know what I mean? I mean, my God, there's more than three in my neighborhood. And he's telling me this, and I'm listening to him. And what he had done was he had defined an area that was literally like, I mean, it was small. It was like 10 blocks by 10 blocks. And he didn't want to work on anything outside of that area. And I'm going, dude, that's why you're having a lot of trouble. I mean, he was calling the whole area sometimes. He was just cold calling and circle prospecting. He was calling the whole area and just wasn't really getting anything from it. And he was beating his head against the wall. I was getting real frustrated. He'd go on a listing appointment, and there'd be like 5 agents there on the listing appointment. And, but he wasn't going out that area. He wasn't taking other chances. He wasn't taking the chances. Like, I mean, honestly, if he drove 5 miles away, my God, there's, 1,000 properties, on the market. And he would message me some days, and he'd tell me, hey, there's no for sale by owners where I live. Well, dude, no kidding, man. If you're just going to drive around like 8 or 10 blocks, dude, there probably isn't any for sale by owners out there. But you know, I think that all of you guys listen to this want to make more money. If you want to make more money, put a little heart. Give you some hearts there on Facebook. But there's a lot of different ways. I was listening to Jim Rohn. And one of the things he was talking about common philosophies that people, in the United States have to make more money. And this was years ago, and I believe it's still true today. The number one philosophy that a lot of people in America believe needs to happen for them to make more money is they believe the government needs to raise minimum wage. We all see this. We all see it. We see it on Facebook. We got friends we went to high school with that they believe that for them to make more money, the government needs to raise minimum wage. There's a lot of real estate agents out there. The number 2 philosophy that Jim Rohn talked about, and I believe there's a lot of real estate agents like this. Number 2 is they want to wait for the company to give them a raise. And we all know there's a lot of real estate agents. Hey, they're at an office where let's say they're split 70-30. They're crushing it. They're in a real motivating environment. They're in a real supportive environment. They got a lot of tools. They got a great office space, just really encouraging all the way around. And they're doing really well. And they want to leave that 70-30 environment for an 80-20 environment where there's nothing really going on, There's nothing really happening. It's not the same energetic place to go. It's not the same energetic place to be. There's nothing exciting going on. Going in the office is like kind of going in a graveyard. But a lot of agents believe the way for them to make more money is for the company to give them a raise, And I do believe in the whole 100% or at least escalating commission splits, but there's a lot of agents that are doing really well where they're at. And really what they need to do is look at what resources they have, how can they use the same resources they have and make a little bit more money? You know what I mean? Because some agents, I don't believe that some agents need to switch offices. You know, um, a lot of agents go, oh, well, I want to make more money, so I'm going to go to a flat fee company. I want to make more money, so I'm going to go to, whatever, EXP or Keller Williams or wherever it is so I can make more. But there's a lot of opportunity to make more where you're at. You could prospect an extra 30 minutes a day. Honestly, like one of the things I did with my buyer's agents was I was getting frustrated with how many bad leads we were getting, like from Facebook and stuff. So I got affiliated with a credit repair company so that we could take those people that were serious about houses and we could put them in a credit repair program and we could work them through that process. And hey, if they're in their program, you keep showing them houses. If they drop out of the program and they're not serious about their credit and fixing their credit so they can buy, then hey, dude, you throw that lead away. You know what I mean? But number three, another third philosophy that a lot of people believe that you need to make more money is they need to be part of some sort of union, or that we need to unionize. We see it in plants, and I'm sure there's some of that in the real estate industry. There's a lot of agents out there going, man, so and so is paying this company's paying that. All the companies should be paying the same, or all the companies should be paying more. Guys, there's agents out there that own 50-50 splits to get a ton of support from their office, and they're crushing it. The problem with these three philosophies, though, whether you're waiting for the government to give you a raise, you're waiting for your company to give you a bigger commission split, you're waiting for some kind of union or price fixing or something to happen out there. There's a lot of agents that believe that these flat fee listing companies, the ones that list for $299, they believe that those people are affecting the business. The thing is with those, I've yet to see a company like that. And if there's one in your market, please send me a message and tell me about it. But I've yet to see a company like that take a significant share of your marketplace. And like I've seen a lot of agents who were really upset about Zillow. And I mean, we all knew the Zillow thing was coming. We all knew that at some point Zillow was going to go out and hire real estate agents. But the problem is, there's a certain part of the world out there that are do-it-yourself people. And those people, they paint their own house, right? They change their own oil in their car. But then a lot of us, we might have that skill set where we could paint our house or change our oil, but we're probably not going to do it, or we're too busy to do it. And these flat fee companies that list a house for $295, I mean, it's the same thing. The average person out there that you're going to be working for, the more experienced one probably hasn't sold more than 2 or 3 houses in their lifetime, the whole life. The ones that have sold 3, 4, or 5 houses, they done it either during a different time where, like TRED didn't exist, a lot of the closing procedures and stuff didn't exist. I mean, I got a seller I'm working for right now that told me when we put the house on the market, he said, hey, I want to go ahead and let's get an appraisal. That way, if anybody's getting a loan, they can just use the appraisal we got. And he just didn't understand, apparently, when he'd sold a house like 25 years ago, apparently, I don't know, I hadn't been in the business 25 years, but apparently that was normal procedure. You went around and you got a couple of appraisals, and you got basically the highest and best appraisal, and that's the one that you showed buyers that walked through the door. But the problem with these philosophies that we just talked about, making more money, is that that you're never going to get rich. You're never going to get to the, if you're waiting on the government to give you a raise, you're waiting on your company to give you, an extra 5%. You're waiting on, some sort of union or something to get rid of the what we call discount brokers or whatever. You're waiting on that to happen. that sort of stuff, it isn't going to make you rich. It isn't going to make you wealthy. It isn't going to make you anything like that. The only thing that's going to make you, it's really going to make you more money is your performance. Um, it's your performance. It's your daily activities. It's how well are you using the resources that you already have. Like we talked about a minute ago. Some of you guys are crushing it on Facebook, generating 200 leads a week. But the problem with Facebook leads is that only about 2% of those, 2.5% are going to convert. And that's the people that really have a solid system. A lot of agents are generating a lot of Facebook leads, but they don't have a follow-up system in place for them. They don't have anything that happens. They get the lead, and if the person doesn't want to buy today or they're not able to buy today, then that lead pretty much, they say it goes in our CRM. Oh, we put it in conversion and then we hope something happens to it. The problem with that is these things like conversion, like Real Geeks, like, uh, Commissions Inc., they're not really, they're sending out automatic emails, but, after a while, people just ignore those emails. And that's what happens. I mean, I'm so ready, guys. I'm so ready for the whole drip to go away. The whole thing of like, oh, we're going to put them in a drip. We're going to put them in a drip. I mean, because the thing that happens when you get them in a drip is once you start sending out that email, right? Let's say you're using Top Producer. We're not picking on anybody's thing, but let's say you're using Top Producer. Okay, so Top Producer has a series of emails in it, right? It's got canned drip campaigns. It comes with them already loaded up. So and I think Lion's Desk, I think a lot of these places do now, or a lot of these CRMs do. But let's say you go in there and you just say, hey, I'm going to write my own. I'm going to write my own 10 email follow-up system. The problem with that is if you're sending that to one person, it's probably not a big deal. Okay, now all of a sudden you're sending it to 20 people, 30 people, 100 people. Google Gmail is smart. I keep saying this. These guys at Google, these are some of the smartest programmers there are. This company, and one of the big initiatives they have is to get rid of spam. So sending that same email out to like 10 of your friends, probably isn't a big deal. But once you start sending that same email and it's went out to 75, 100 people, 125 people, handful of people mark it spam. Gmail has the ability to go in and see that you're sending the exact same email over and over again. And if you guys don't believe me, just look it up on Google and read some of the stuff that they talk about with fighting spam and some of the things they've talked about just over the years. Once Gmail figures out that spam, then all of a sudden it just goes to everybody's promotion folder. Goes to their promotion folder, goes to the spam folder, wherever it is. So the thing about drip campaigns is drip campaigns don't really work. You can do them, but that's only one way you should be following up. You should still have, a series of phone calls, a series of texts, a series of other stuff. I mean, honestly, you can even use you can even integrate slide dial in some of your in some of the CRMs that are out there, so that on a regularly scheduled basis, slide dial automatically sends them a voicemail to their phone. Sends them a voicemail, and you can even set up so it sends a text. But a lot of these Facebook people are generating a lot of leads on Facebook. The conversion rate is so low. That 98% that's not going to convert. There's probably another 2 or 3% of those people that would like to buy. They just don't have the resources. They either don't have the credit. Some of them don't have credit, and some of them don't have money. But in 2018, there's a lot of programs out there. They might have to live, 30 minutes from the edge of town, but a lot of markets have, USDA programs that will allow somebody to get 100% loan without, really having any money. So, but the people that don't have credit, they don't have the cash to buy, they don't have the credit, what are you doing with them? And like I said a few minutes ago, I believe that every person that's generating leads on Facebook should be affiliated with some sort of credit repair. Deanna, you're right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these people that you're getting from like Facebook Marketplace, a lot of these people have like just started their search. Some of them, their search started with seeing your ad. You know what I mean? But yeah, you closed 2 last month from an ad campaign from last year. That's one of the reasons why, like I get contacted all the time about selling you guys funnels and stuff, and now I'm a believer in the whole funnel thing, but I'm not a believer that you should be buying funnels and paying crazy money for them. Like I had one guy, he was asking me if I would help him sell funnels to you guys for $3,500 a funnel, and they would finance them and all kind of stuff. But the problem is, for a lot of agents, the whole ad thing, the whole sales pitch with a lot of these people is, oh, well, all you got to do is close one and it pays for itself. But our sales cycle is so long with these buyer leads that lots of times, closing that one, you might have to spend money for 6 months to close that one. You know what I mean? Now, sometimes when they start coming, when you finish working them through your pipeline, then one isn't, you start getting one a month, but at the same time, you know what, Tom? I've been doing the whole credit repair thing for like a year, and actually probably a little bit over, somewhere between 12 and 14 months. Typically what I'm seeing, I'll tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing two different things. Okay, some people, like, credit repair is not a magic, it's not a magic bullet, right? They still have to like work on repairing their credit. So what typically happens, they send out their credit repair letters, some things fall off their credit, and you can get some points like that. And credit counseling, sometimes people don't, what they need is they need to pay down some credit cards, or they need to just get another line of credit. They need to establish some new credit. Um, there's a lot of people out there that, hey, they only got two bad things on their credit and they're 4 years old, but they never got any credit since then. Most people I'm seeing it take anywhere from 60 to 90 days. So yeah, this company I'm using, Deanna, does the same thing. It can create you a portal so you can like kind of track. But yeah, it's going to take like 60 to 90 days. Now, some people with really, really bad credit, there's some people out there that, damn, they got every credit card you get, charged them all up, and didn't ever pay the first one. Sometimes, they have to make a payment plan with them. Sometimes they got to pay some stuff down. Sometimes they got to negotiate something off. And what I see a lot of times, though, is people will do a credit repair thing. They get started in a credit repair company or working with one to fix their credit. The company sends them the information that they need to send out, the letters they need to sign and send out, and they never send them. They basically let them sit on their dining room table. But that's kind of the normal things. But typically, if somebody needs like 20 to 40 points, they can probably get that in like 60, 90 days, 120 days. Just depends on, each person's situation is a little bit different. But it works. You just have to, but you have to use a reputable company. If you're interested, send me a message. I'll be glad to help you out. But I see a lot of agents, and the reason why they're failing, and I think this is new agents too. Some of it is fear. I mean, some of it's fear that they believe that they get in the business and they believe that they're afraid. They're afraid they're not really qualified. They're afraid that they don't have the education they need. They're afraid they don't have the experience they need. Some agents get in the business and they're like, they figure out what you got to do in the business to be successful, and they're going like, oh, that's not me. I got to find another way. Yeah, I'll tell you the funny thing about my group coaching. I'll have agents that will literally get my group coaching, and they get in and they're following exactly what I'm telling them to do. They're going on appointments. They're consistently taking listings. They're getting better at it. They do it for 2 or 3 months. They get 8 or 10 listings. They got 8 or 10 listings. Some of them have more, and they're making progress. And one of the things they try to do is they try to all of a sudden get off the phone rather than keep going, because a lot of them are like right on the edge of being like really super successful. They stop and they think there's a magic bullet. There's a lot of agents out there. The reason why they're failing and they're not making money is, instead of spending their time looking for clients, they're spending their time looking for the magic bullet. They're looking for the easy way. They're looking for the easy button. You know what I mean? And companies like, honestly, that's why companies like Curator, Boomtown, stuff like that exist, is because agents are looking for that easy thing, and sometimes agents have paid $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for that easy thing. Um, they'll pay the $3,500 for that funnel that they're not going to close a deal from for 6 months. Um, and I'll tell you, like, I see it over and over again. Over and over again. Where they just can't get it together. So and it's common. I mean, there's probably agents. Honestly, there's some of you guys that are listening to this right now that instead of doing what you know that you need to be doing today, um, you're listening to me talk, hoping that you can find that easy way. That way it's a little bit easier. That way that you can avoid rejection. And there is no avoiding rejection. I mean, a lot of you guys have heard me talk about this. A lot of agents believe they're digital marketers. They're like, oh, I'm a digital marketer. I'm not real estate. I'm not a salesperson. I don't like to be salesy. I don't like to feel like I'm pressuring people. But the thing is, a lot of those, especially the new agents that are believing that, and they're trying to go after that idea that they're a digital marketer, they're failing doing it. And it's just, it sucks. I kind of blame the industry. I believe I blame the industry because a lot of offices, especially, I worked at this one office one time where the guy that was the broker in charge, he constantly talked about, like, oh, how things were easy. He said, oh, I don't like to make cold calls. I don't like to call for sale owners and expires. I like for people to call me. Well, that's the thing. You can go out there and spend a couple $1,000s a month and wait for people to call you. But, sometimes they don't call, or the ones that do call are not really qualified. So, but guys, I got a couple more minutes. You guys have any questions? Anything I can help you with? Any problems you're having in your business? Anything you want to talk about that I talked about today or this morning? So, guys, look here. If I can help you with your Ty asked, what should a small team be spending on advertising? Are you talking about like a money? Are you talking about like a money goal? Like I know there's all these crazy formulas. The Real Estate Millionaire book, had some crazy formulas. Is that what you're talking about? Like how much money? Honestly, man, I don't think you really have to spend that much. I talk about this in my group coaching a lot, that a lot of the stuff I talk about is low cost and no cost lead situations. But dude, I think that, I think there's a ton of free leads out there. I think what you guys should be doing as a small team is you guys should be spending most of your time looking for listings. And if you spend most of your time looking for listings, the more signs you get in the ground, the more listings you get on MLS, the more business you're just going to go get. Now, what kind of return is that $2,000 to $3,000 a month getting you? I'm seeing agents doing that too. They're spending a couple grand a month, and it just depends on what it depends on what your goal is, I guess. But Ty, I would honestly, man, I'd probably not spend as much money, and I'd start spending more money, and I'd start really focusing on a prospecting business and building my team around prospecting versus building my team around like Zillow and Trulia leads, Realtor.com leads. That's what I'd do. Chris asked, I'm just starting out my real estate journey. Is there a better or worse broker to work with? Ty, Chris, I'll get back to you here in just a second. But Ty, man, that one or two extra deals each month, man, I think you can get that from calling expireds and for sale owners. If you're not doing it already, I mean, I believe that you could probably time block an hour a day for prospecting, and you could start ramping up your listings. If you really want to ramp up your listings, start time blocking like 2 to 3 hours a day. Hey Jason, what's up, man? But Chris, starting out in a real estate journey, is there a better or worse broker to work with? Man, I think it's all about the situation you're in and what do you want your business to look like. Sometimes being a brand new agent, it's hard to know what your business could look like. It's hard to know what the possibilities are. Um, but better, I'd look for some local support. That's for sure. I'm happy. Send me a message. I'm happy to talk to you more one-on-one about it. But I think you need some local support. I think you need a solid training program. I think you need a blueprint. Like I really believe that that a lot of new agents, one of the reasons they're failing too is because they don't have, their brokerage isn't giving them a blueprint. Um, and I think that's a shame. Sometimes the person training at the brokerage has never really sold a lot of real estate. They've never been a gosh, what's the word? I don't want to say top producer. God, I hate that word, top producer. But they've never been a highly productive agent. And but somehow or another, they're the person like training. You know what I mean? So but you need a blueprint, man. But promise. Promise Clark, what are some tips to convert for sale owners in a market where other for sale owners are selling their home? You know what you got to do? The big thing is, and this is in every market, is you have to follow up and you got to be like really diligent. And if you're in a market where for sale owners are selling, which is a lot of the country right now, you got to cut your follow up time in half. You know what I mean? You have a meaningful conversation with them today, you need to go ahead and follow up tomorrow. Don't waste any time. If you're waiting 3, 4, or 5 days a week to follow up, a lot of agents that do that, they'll go, oh man, well, I want to call them again. I want to call them again, but I feel like it's too soon, and I mean, honestly, what's too soon, So, I think you got to cut your follow-up time in half. You have to be really diligent. You need a pre-listing package, and you got to have a plan. My group coaching. I tell you, if you're interested in my group coaching, send me a message, and I got a coupon code and stuff I've been giving out for this month to give you a deal in the first month. Chris, the real estate market is doing really well in Oklahoma City where I live, so I'm really eager to get out and work. I got laid off from Walmart as a manager after 18 years, and I'm excited about getting out there and doing business. Dude, I tell you what, man, my brother used to be a Walmart manager. And the hours that, dude, if you work on really productive things, the same way that Walmart's was scheduling you to work as a manager, you're going to do excellent in the real estate business. I mean, the biggest difference between what you were doing before and what you're doing now is Walmart kind of give you at least being the manager, they kind of gave you an outline of what you're doing every day, an idea of what you're doing, so you wasn't showing up, clocking in, and just hoping things happen. Um, the biggest problem a lot of agents have in the real estate business is you don't have that guidance. You know what I mean? A lot of people talk about going to a brokerage and the brokerage giving them that guidance, but they don't. You know, the broker in charge in most offices in 2018, the broker in charge job at most offices is really just to make sure that you're legal. And honestly, that's about all they do at most brokerages. So but dude, all you need, like I just talked about, man, you just got to have that blueprint being a new agent. And it's not hard. It's not a hard business. It's just that you got to work like anything else. um Joanna asked, when calling for sale owners, they're all over. Are you looking and loading through? Am I looking through comps for each call? The script is based on knowing what you can get them. I think that when you're prospecting, you need to have MLS pulled up. And that way you can pull up the community, you can pull up the address, do a radius, you kind of ballpark things, or at least get an idea. If I can pull up the address in a 1 mile radius, I got a good idea to know if, hey, it's 150 in the ballpark. You know what I mean? I think you got to be, you need to be sitting in front of your computer, especially if you're not real educated on what's happening in the market. Um, you got to be sitting in front of your computer. I think that's the most effective way. Like I think that I think another thing agents are messing up with when they're prospecting is they're not prospecting from the same place every day. Well, what I mean is, one day they prospect over here at this cubicle, one day they prospect in the conference room, one day they prospect sitting in their bedroom, and it sometimes it's hard to build that muscle memory when your environment is changing. But George, Chris, yeah, 15 hours for myself instead of 15 hours a day for Walmart. I'm interested in joining your program. Chris, send me a message, man. Dude, I can help you out. But Joanne, you're right. Like most brokers, especially at large brokerages, their job in 2018 is to train agents. And it's 100%. Well, not to train agents. I'm sorry, it's to recruit agents. Set appointments and recruit. Um, a lot of even team leaders at companies like Keller Williams, their job is not really to lead you. Um, it's really to go out there and recruit more of you. There's a lot of offices that seriously have the mentality that, hey, if we go out, they're not really recruiting quality, and they're not recruiting people that they know are going to do well, that they know are going to succeed. They're recruiting warm bodies. Hey, if we get 100 agents in here, somebody's got to sell something. It's kind of interesting. Like if you look at a lot of offices, depending on your market, you look at a lot of these offices, and they're not number 3 in your market or number 2 in your market because they have a great training program and a lot of agents that are doing really, really well. They're number 1 in your market because they have 250 agents. Like I'll tell you, I see that in my market. There's one office that they're number 1 in sales and all this stuff, but they got like 150 agents. And then I think it's number 2 office in our market. They got like 40 agents, and they're literally, there's less than like 5% apart with sales. And one of them just honestly just has more agents. You know what I mean? You need more monitors. I tell you, like Joanna, when I'm pulling comps and stuff, I only have one monitor, so it's not really the same. Yeah, well, I just have one monitor, and just kind of get kind of get used to it, I guess. But Joanna Malik, but if you cap, you cap. So someone's selling 60 million, someone's selling 3 million, make the office the same dough. You know, yeah, I mean that's kind of right, Joanna. But I will tell you, here's the deal with the $60 million person versus the $3 million person. The $60 million person will actually attract more people to the brokerage. So it's kind of funny when you see that, you think like I remember hearing and I'm assuming you're talking about Keller Williams. We're talking about those numbers in cap and Keller Williams or EXP. But Keller Williams probably more so than EXP just because each office is more locally independently owned. I heard a team leader say one time, he said, "Oh, well, this agent and that agent, we get the same amount of money from both of them. They're equal, so it doesn't really matter to me." But the truth is they're not equal. The $3 million person, hang on just a second. The $3 million person, yeah, they might be well liked and they're a super nice person. But the $60 million person, they're having that amount of volume. They're probably doing a lot of big listing business too. All those listings are going to attract just more buyers, just call it into the office, number one. So even though a lot of those calls are they're coming to websites, they're seeing, hey, the company name, they're looking it up online, whatever it is. Other agents are looking up, that superstar in MLS, and they're going, oh, I'm going to go work at so-and-so because this person's over there and they're selling 60 million. Those two agents are not the same. Yeah, they're not the same, Yeah, it's about it's about market share. And it's pretty interesting how that works. So, hey, Miles, man, for you guys don't know, Miles Brookins, he's crushing it down in Florida. He's a good guy too. If you guys have any referrals or something down for the Florida area, but yeah, so they're not really the same. But what other questions you guys have? What problems are you facing? What challenges do you have going on? I'll tell you what my big challenge is today is I need an electrician. I don't think anybody on the call can really help me with that, but I need an electrician. That's my challenge this morning. But guys, hey, if I can help you, if you're interested in my group coaching, send me a message through Facebook. If you have anything I can help you with, if you have any questions about brokerage or whatever it may be, let me know. Just send me a message. Joanna, I tell you what, I'm going to do more of the live calls in my group coaching. I tell you what, I plan to do some more this week. I know that I know in group coaching, we've got we've got I got my Z-Buyer workshop next week. I know I've had a lot of agents asking me about luxury market. Could I share with them some, tips and strategies and stuff to work more in the luxury market? But I'm planning to make some more live calls. But hey, if I can help you guys, just let me know. Hey, if you guys are interested in credit repair, send me a message through Facebook, and I'll be glad to kind of help you out and tell you what I have kind of going on with it, what my experiences are, and how you can get more involved in that with the bad leads you have. But Joanne's right. Join my group coaching. But you guys have a great day. Have a great Tuesday, and I'll talk to you soon.